Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. So I went through the last few videos and just kind of took a look at how many likes they got, how many views they got, and those sorts of things. And it has shown me that you guys are loving this little auction bike that we picked up a couple weeks ago. Got a couple videos on it where we went and picked it up the day after the auction, and then we did a video a few days later where we got it running. We did not have a key switch, or did not have a key, so we hot wired it, just unplugged the wiring harness and went straight down to the coil and got it to run. It's got a couple issues that are pretty simple to take care of, pretty easy to take care of, and I thought, well, we'll just go ahead and do a video again today on this bike because it has been so popular. We've got a broken kickstand, so I've gathered up some parts and I'm just going to build a kickstand for it. We have got a new key switch, so we're going to put a new key switch in it, which will require us to pull the gas tank and the battery and pull the wiring harness out of the frame to get to that. I don't think we'll maybe attempt to pull the switch out, but I don't think there's going to be enough slack in the harness to get it to where we can unplug that. And then the last thing we had that was kind of bothering me about it was the headlight was broke. It had a big crack in it right here, so I kind of did a fix. Like if you watched a few videos back, I had an SL70 with some broken side cases, and I did the same thing. I put some of that fiber mesh stuff that you use like on drywall work over top of the crack, and then Gorilla glued it, and then put a clamp around it. Get you back far enough away to kind of hold it in place. So we'll see how that works. The speedometer did not work on the last video when we actually rode it. The speedometer didn't work, and I found that the cable was broke, so I have got a used cable that fits the patina of the bike, and that seems to work. And I can tell that the pin inside is actually spinning, so we don't have a problem with the little tabs on the speedometer gear. That all seems to be good. I think when we put this all back together, we should have a good working speedometer. Then we will check the lights and so forth. But I think the first thing I'm going to tackle is the kickstand, and then we will go to the key switch and pull that wiring out. But I'm going to take that off. It takes a 17 millimeter wrench or socket to get that off. I'm going to take the part that's still on here. I'm going to take that off, and because it looks like it's been welded a few different times where they broke off. I'm going to clean that up a little bit so I can get to good steel to weld onto. So I'll do that off camera, but I'm going to pull that off of there. All right, so as you can see, I've got that piece cleaned up. Got all the old weld off of it, so we've got some good material to weld to. I've got a little piece of square bar. I cut it, I don't have my tape measure. I think I cut it 7 inches. I just kind of leaned the bike over and thought, measured to where I thought the lean that I wanted. We'll see how close we get. And then we've got another little piece to put on it for a foot. I've got a couple washers under it just to kind of space it up and get the bar in the center of this. Somebody's going to comment, say, well, why'd you use a square instead of a round? That's what I had. So do not have my welder set right. It's a little bit better. So I won't bore you with that, but I'm just going to weld that on there, and then we'll bolt it to the bike, and then we will put the little foot on it. All right, so as you can see, I've got it bolted back onto the bike. I think for the amount of lean I want to have the bike to have when it's on the stand. I think it's going to be better to put this little piece underneath there, so that's what I'm going to do. We'll see how much it moves on me. All right, I finished that up. So the next thing we need to do is figure out where the spring's going to go. I need to get a marker. Hang on, bear with me just a second. I'll leave you running. So with the spring with no stretch at all, is about right there. So we'll go a little bit lower than that. And then I took an old nail and I cut off the head of an old bent nail. And you say, Mike, why do you keep old bent nails? Well, this building, uh-oh, where'd it go? This building that I use, there was like a bolt bin type of thing here when I got it. And it had nuts and bolts and nails and all kinds of stuff. Well, apparently the fella before me, if he bent a nail, he kept it. Let's see. We need to put our clamp back on. That's still a little warm, duh. There we go. Yeah, I think that'll work. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna wind up taking it back off and do a little finish welding and cleaning up the weld on that foot. But I'll do that off camera, so bring you guys back when we're ready to tackle that key switch. To speed things up a little bit, I went ahead and disconnected the fuel lines and have drained most of the fuel out of the tank. I took the bolts that hold the battery, the battery box, and the tank. Bummer. Wonder if I just broke that, if it was already broke. The ground wire is off of the battery. Not that the battery's any good, but all right. All right, so there's the tank. Now, oh, what do we got? An old paper towel. And a low-fat granola bar wrapper. Other than that, it looks pretty clean. I don't see a lot of mouse activity. Yeah, the wires look good. Oh, okay, all right, so back on track. So we are wanting to take this key switch out. Let's see, we've got to take, I should have my ratchet with a 10 millimeter on it somewhere. There it is. That is already loose. Let's see. I don't think. Hang on, I gotta get the key switch out of the hole. Let's see if we can pull that back far enough without pulling all the headlight wires out all the way. Oh yeah, we're gonna make it. Hang on a second. You gotta. Boy, this plastic that they put on top of the wiring harness, it all breaks and cracks. Do we have enough? Oh, almost. Can we get just another couple inches or so? Aha! There it is. I'm going to do a real quick comparison just to make sure my new key switch is wired the same. Blue, brown, black it is. Where'd you all go? I'll go to the other side of the bike. Maybe it'll make it a little easier. Should have gave myself more room. All right. Just slot that. It'll only go one way. There's a little slot, groove thing that. All right, there we go. There's that. And there's a ground wire that needs to plug. Okay. Now, let's see if we can fish all that back up to the front. Where's the switch at? Well, this is always fun. Trying to get it turned in the right spot. Somebody's going, there's a trick to it and you're not doing it. Okay, I've got it started in the hole, and you guys were probably just looking at my back the entire time there. If so, I'll edit that out. But now we have to get the switch turned. See that little point sticking out there? There is a groove. Oh, and we're almost all the way around the other way. Hang on just a second. which way the wiring needs to probably go. Back the other way. Let's see if I can put the key in it. Use the key for helping me turn it. Aha, there we go. Need to make a little tool for that. I have one for the for that nut that fits, you know, for your steering stem. I made one, cut a little socket to fit. I need to make one for that. I don't have one. Okay, let's now we've got that in. Somewhere in here is the harness plug from where we unplugged it originally. There it is. Looks like it goes that way. All right, come on. Everybody line up. Okay, I've already plugged the coil back in up there. I don't know if you can see where I'm looking at. So I think before I go too far, I'm actually going to check and make sure that we have spark. Give me a second. I'll pull this spark plug out of here. I guess I never tightened it down from the last time. It wasn't tight from the last video. All right, key off. All right, definitely no spark. Key on. Oh yeah, we've got spark, so we should be turning to key on with lights, and we should still have spark. We do. Okay. So I'm going to take a minute and button all that back up. Put the tank, put the battery, put the spark plug guard back on. Let's go ahead and tighten down the spark plug this time. All right, got that. I'm going to button all that back up, and then when we're ready to tackle the wiring on the headlight, put the headlight in it, then I'll bring you guys back then. There we go. All right, let's put it back together. I'll be right back. Well, just in case somebody goes to ask me how I did it or how I do it, it's when you take a fuel tank out and the lines, you're going to reuse them. They're so short. They're so hard to get them in there and the tank, and then get it all to come out to the right spot. Here's a little trick. The alligator clip wire that I used to run for the jumper wire. Alligator clip it to the fuel lines to clip those together. Then run your other end of your wire down. Don't pull too hard because you may pull the clip off. But anyway, that's your fuel lines and your tank reinstalled. So there's a little trick that I use to pull the lines down through there. Okay, I apologize to everyone. I had every intention of filming, putting the headlight back to, kick the tripod, putting the headlight back together and checking bulbs and doing those sorts of things. And I had a neighbor stop by and he wanted to chat for a little bit. So while I was talking to him, I just kept kind of tinkering and putting parts on. Put the air cleaner housing back on. No, it does not have an air cleaner in it, no kind of filter in it. It's just an empty canister. Went ahead and buttoned up the headlight and the speedometer and all those things. And you know, while I was chatting with him, and next thing I knew, I had pretty much everything put back together. So we're ready to put gas back in it. And I put good bulbs in the headlights and the speedometer. Of course, now there's not a good battery, so we may just blow those immediately. Probably enough. But at least that will let us check on the wiring. The high-low switch on the handlebars is pretty iffy. It should be in, looks like maybe in the low position. I don't know if we'll be able to get to move to the high position. Let's see if it will start before we get it down off the table. Okay, got the key on, fuel's already on. Die. And you did. Hang on, we need to turn the idle up a little bit. Try it again. I guess we can just set the cruise with the Alright, I really want to see if the headlight is going to come on. Nothing. You know what? We had that broken wire, the ground wire on the battery. I wonder if that's like broken the circuit. I didn't think about that. Probably has. So yeah, until we get that fixed. All right, let's take it for a spin. Well, I had high hopes for this speedometer, but I took the bike down off the bench. I rolled it forward. The speedometer immediately shot up to 20, 25 mile an hour and then went to nothing. So I don't think it's working. We're gonna find out here. Let's start the bike. No, doesn't seem to be working. wish the speedometer, wrong way. Wish the speedometer was working. This thing is running pretty well. I'm gonna get a tripod. Well, if nothing else, it looks like our kickstand's working the way I had hoped it would. It's got about the right lean to it, not too much lean, but got some weight on the bike. I'm gonna set you guys outside here. Let you watch the traffic go by here for a second while I go get the bike. I'm not gonna lie to you, this might be the best running Trail 70 that I've ever had for the original engine. This thing scoops. The speedometer does seem to be moving. Weird. It stops at 5 miles an hour, not 0. Wow, I can't get over how well this thing runs. Well, as far as I can tell, I think the key switch is right and is working. I don't think the key switch is the root of our no lighting problem. It might be. I might have the wrong key switch in it. Seemed to match up right, but anyway. Runs, rides, runs great. Shifts pretty good. Yeah, no real complaints. So I don't know, what am I going to do with it? Am I going to keep it for a while, do more videos on it? If somebody's interested in buying it, let me know. It does have a title. I haven't put it in my name yet. It's the old original title from 1972, but they've signed it. It's a good, clean title. I can get it put in my name. But if you're interested in this bike, let me know. If no one seems to be interested in it, then we may do some more videos and clean it up a little bit. All right, guys, everybody have a great day. I will see you on the next video.